All right, what is going on, guys? I think we are live. Let me know in the chat what tickers you guys want me to cover. Just literally drop them down in the chat, and after we go over the setups I want to cover, we will get to all of them. All right, so we're going to actually start here with the indices. I'm just going to go over how the indices are looking for the week, how we just ended out the week, SPY, QQ, DIA, and IWM. And then we can get into the individual tickers and the setups going into this week that I'm going to be watching out for. Obviously, there are a lot more setups, but this is what I'm going to be watching out for. And yeah, let's get into it, starting with SPY. I'm going to point out we did have increasing volume on all of these, so that is something to note. We do know selling is supporting, like the volume is supporting these big red candlesticks we got going on. So we do know actual selling is going on, and it's not just a fake move. I want to point out we have had this high volume selling, so that actually happened this whole time, but we haven't had any massive crash. So I also want to note that it's not anything I would really be getting concerned about. I do think now is the time that, if you have been waiting to go long, I think now is literally the time to be, literally just doing that. I want to point out we are right above the 431.19 support. You broke down underneath 438 over here on SPY, so that is the next level. So that actually is a setup that I'm going to be going over. But yeah, I mean, if we do decide to not just start rallying right here, if we decide to have this pullback and we don't get the fall through of this candlestick on Monday, then that is the level that I am looking for a lot of buyers to step in. Anybody who has missed this and got scared out over here, even though this was just a back test, anybody who did that, that is a lot of tickers, but sure thing, chicken wang, let's do it. AMC, that's a funny one. Yeah, Tesla, I'm actually, now I can't say I have a lot of shares of Tesla, but I have 4 shares of Tesla as of the other day, and I am excited. I have not bought in shares since Mara, so just knowing that I'm not putting a ton of risk on with options. I haven't done that in quite some time. I went much heavier into Riot. I got a lot of shares of Riot. So, well, for me, a lot of shares. Probably to a lot of you guys, it's probably not a lot of shares, but to me, good amount. But yeah, guys, if we do decide to not have the follow through on Monday, which, Monday, you're going to want to see follow through, all right? If you don't see a gap up and, you go, or not even a gap up, you just don't reclaim this 438 level, then we likely are going to come down to 431.19 before getting that rebound. That's literally just the low of this candlestick right here. It's also a weekly low. Over here is your last weekly major low. You see you made your weekly high. Boom, major low right there. And then you were off to the races. So important level right there. I do expect buyers to be stepping in there. So that's pretty much it on SPY. I want to point out your RSI, same spot that we marked the March bottom over here. And then in December, you didn't even make it down here. And then over in October, this is actually where you marked your October low. You did have a bullish divergence going on right there. But, it's still at the same spot. So that is what I want to make clear. Over on QQQ, guys, things are a little bit trickier right here. You don't really have any support if you lose here. Now, you did reclaim it on Friday, and that's why it's very important to see the follow through on Monday, because if you don't see the follow through on Monday, then QQ is just going to get sucked back under here, and the next support is 2.5% down, which is a ways. And if that happens, guys, SPY could fall a little lower. I'm just putting that out there, but I will be watching the SPY 431.19 level. I think that's going to be an important one. And no matter where these other indices are, I think, a lot of buyers are going to step in over there. Just my opinion on how that would go, just from a psychological standpoint. Guess what? People missed this whole thing. People were probably like, oh, bear market's resuming. Boom. And then, it never happened. And then you went on almost 7% there. And I want to point out, all right, if you are a bear, I mentioned this in my videos. You are a bear and you're not satisfied with this decline, just realize this whole move just got given back. So if you're not going to be satisfied with the 7% decline or 6% decline, I don't know what to tell you. All right. All oscillators just reset. Even on the weekly time frame, you have your RSI now coming right towards 50. Let's just put a level right there. Let's put a horizontal line. I'm going to point out during your uptrends, All right, this is where the weekly RSI pulled back to. You can go a little lower, but this is literally, this is still in the realm of you're in an uptrend. You could very easily see these pullbacks here, right there. But yeah, QQ guys, ways away. So you're gonna want to see that fall through on Monday. If you don't, boom, we're coming down there to 348.18. But again, SPY is the big boy. DIA, you're actually in the perfect spot. You saw buyers literally step in at the exact bottom of this zone right here, which is what we were paying attention to since this big red bar right there. I do think it's very likely that this is just not gonna consolidate for 7 months like this in a bullish structure and then break out and only have, what is this, 5 weeks, 1 2 3 4 5 weeks of upside, or outside of the consolidation. Not even upside, you had 1 week, 2 weeks of upside, and I just don't think that's gonna be how that goes. IWM, I'm gonna point out your daily RSI has already hit oversold. So I went long 2 contracts over here on IWM, and that is actually up quite a bit already. Over 50% just on Friday. And guys, these are 915 contracts. I think IWM is likely to start pushing back up, but we're gonna have to reclaim this zone right here. This is your heavily traded zone, just like SPY has this heavily traded zone from 443 to 444. You have IWM. This was the big spot right here, going from 187 to 189. So you're going to probably get resistance here. If you scaled in down here with me, I think it's wise to start taking your profits up here, and you can adjust as you go. VIX, I'm going to point out, you have this reversal candlestick. It's a bearish harami, all right? But in the grand scheme of things, you broke out from this resistance right there, this resistance right there. So double top. You had like 5 touch points here. Very strong level, all right? Now, I understand VIX. People are going to say you can't do TI and VIX. I completely disagree. Do you see this pennant we had forming, this descending triangle, all right? We've done TA on VIX so many freaking times, all right? And that's also why over here, that's why I was, remind you guys on the YouTube channel, hey, all right, probably not going to see much more upside on VIX. Over here, what did I also remind you guys? We're probably not going to see much more upside on VIX. And then, over intraday, I told the Discord, like, hey, all right, this thing is at RSI of 68, I think it was at the time. Very likely we are putting in a bottom on the indices within a couple trading sessions, unless we see a crash, which I still don't think we're going to be seeing a crash after this massive run. Really do not. I don't think we have the, I don't think we have conditions like we did last year that caused that. But yeah, you just have a break and retest going on if you come down here on Monday. So until you lose this level and get a daily close under it, we got to be skeptical that, hey, you could actually see some more volatility. And that would be if SPY comes back down to 431.19. All right. All right. So we got the indices out of the way. Let's go over some setups. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 14 setups going on into this week. So let's dive right into those. All right. Starting off, we have Amazon. Over to Amazon. All right. Ford, yes. F is actually something I attempted to play. Let's take a look at that right now, actually. F. All right. I want to point out, you did not hold your breakout over here. You have your RSI extremely oversold and got down to, what is that, 22. All right, you do have a bullish engulfing candlestick with volume on the day. So you want to see this zone right here reclaimed. And up there, I would honestly use this zone now as your risk level, which would be a 1185. So you take the long at 12, use 1185 as your stop, and then you are playing for this move right here. Let's just see risk to reward on that. Now, this is actually one I was calling out last week, but as you see, we did not end up getting buyers stepping in. Now you're getting buyers stepping in. So that is what you want to see. They're right there. You have a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Not too bad. All right, but Amazon, let's go over there. Let me just point out, you have not held your breakout over here. You have came down with, if anybody was taking coin, yes, we'll cover coin. That is a good one too. I think Bitcoin is likely putting in a, I'm not going to call it a major swing low, but I will say it's likely going to be a bottom for a decent sized bounce if we do end up going lower, which if we do go lower, I don't think it's going to be much lower. Amazon though, if you took the breakout, the break and retest right here from this high over here, you would have been using 135.62 as your risk level. That was your stop. You would have got stopped out right here, and you saved yourself quite a bit of pain right there. I know Amazon puts have paid this week. We are now coming into the back test of this gap. All right, so you pretty much broke out from here. You had a straight up just gap. All right, a massive gap. All right, what is that? 8% right there. Amazon saved the market, not Apple. Amazon saved the market. You're coming back into the back test of this pennant right here, this bull flag right here, as well as the gap fill. So if I was to take a long, which I don't know if I'm going to long Amazon, I'm going to be completely honest on that one. I am much more interested in the indices now that I have gotten my opportunity here. There are a few on this list that I am definitely interested. TSM is one of them. I really like that setup. BA is another one that for a swing trade, I really would like to take that trade. I got my opportunity. I actually called it out the other day, and it was in the Discord, and I did not take it literally on Friday because I was skeptical to see, SPY, all right, did not come down to hit 431.19. So I did take the indices. I did not take BA. BA is one that I was waiting on, and we'll go over in a little. But yeah, Amazon right here, all right, you're literally risking the gap fill. If you really want to do something like this, you could go a little like that, all right, and there is your fair value gap. That is your zone here, so you could use that as your risk level. Take the long at the gap fill. All right, your stop would be somewhere under here. Let's just call it right here. And then you would be playing for a move all the way back up to 135.62. That is what I personally would be doing. The next one we have is Netflix. Netflix is actually the only put trade that we have on here now that the indices have reset. But I will point out, all right, I was watching this over here. You have broken down. So what are we looking for now? We're looking for a back test of this breakout level, which was your neckline over here at 411.88. It was the low of this candlestick. Yeah, 411.88. You're looking for something like this. And what I would be doing on this, all right, you take it on the back test. And the stop on this one could really be anywhere you really choose. A level that I see right now that's standing out to me would be right there. Now, that is, all right, pretty far up there. I am going to point out. I personally won't be taking that one, and I personally also would have a tighter stop on this one. I think if you're going to get the reaction, it's probably not going to go all the way up here and have a $10 move up to whatever this is, 422. I just don't think that would be the case. But if you really wanted a crap, risk to reward, it's actually not crap. All right, look at that. It's 3-1. I thought it would be like less than 3. That is something that you could be looking forward to, right? But yeah, that would be a $30 move down. That would be what you're risking. I would use dated contracts. So if you are to use this as your stop, you wouldn't be getting wrecked on those. You'd maybe be down like 30%, but it wouldn't be down like 50 or 60%. And then you could risk that. Maybe you get a I don't know. I'm not looking at the option chain right now, but let's say this move on 915 contracts, which if I was to take the short, guys, I actually wouldn't be buying that much time. Going to be completely honest, that would be my personal preference there. It probably will get a quick reaction. I would be quick to take those profits, and maybe an expiration 2 weeks out. That might be what I would go with. But yeah, that is that one right there. We have Apple up next. I think Apple is also, so this is one I want to get some Apple. I'm going to be straight up. I hope I get this entry down here. This is why, ultimately, guys, I think a lot of buyers are going to step up at SPY 431.19 if they get the chance, guys. Apple is going to be all the way down here. This is the only level until you have this gap fill all the way down at 167. That's another $4 drop. So, I think it's very likely that buyers step back into the market. I'm going to point that out. You have had a straight drop here, and it's like I said at the beginning, if you're a bear and you haven't been, satisfied with what's going on here, I don't know what to tell you. It's straight up. This has been a vicious drop here without any counter trend rally. I think it's highly likely you get that counter trend rally at a very important level on SPY. And we're kind of right in that spot. Plus, I pointed out, you're literally at the golden pocket here. Let me point that out. What were we using? I think it was it this one we were using? Yeah. All right. You're right there at the 0.786. And that is exactly where you bounce. And if anybody doesn't believe in fibs, here's your proof. The proof is in the pudding. Fibs do, I'm not going to say they matter, but just like all other technicals, they don't really matter. What matters is that a lot of people are watching them. And Fibonacci retracements are, other than support and resistance, I think that is what most people are going to be paying attention to. So that is why I use them. But yeah, Apple, guys, I would be risking down here 171. Doesn't have to be this exact level, all right, but I think this was the open over here. Yeah, 171.09. So that is what I would be risking. And then there we go. All right, so you're doing something like that. Maybe you do the bottom of that candlestick. So a very slim risk here going on, and then you're literally playing for move all the way back up here. So we could delete this gap because it was not being respected, but you are looking for a move back up there. There's a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I very much like this setup, but I also do think once Apple picks back up, I don't think it's just going to bounce a little bit here. All right, $6 up. I don't think that's going to happen and it's going to come back down. I think it's much more likely we finally come back and revisit this level all the way up here at 180, 186. All right, that was where you broke down from over here. Maybe we finally get that back test. Now you're looking like a massive risk reward ratio. There you go. Hey Henry, do you guessing that says VWAP? I don't I don't use VWAP. I'm just gonna tell you right now, and let me just show you why I don't use VWAP. I do have it on here. Volume. No, I don't. All right, that is how much I don't use VWAP. Wow. Oh, I did have it on there. I was just blind. All right, VWAP. I'm gonna show you why I don't use this. All right, it's not really useful to me. All right, this is on Apple. This is a heavily traded stock over here. So you have a touch point here, but what about when you're just going up and like I get it, you're chopping around. I get that. You know, I also don't do a lot of intraday trading. I'm just gonna say that right now. There was a time when I did. Anchored VWAP. Do I use anchored VWAP? I do not use anchored VWAPs. I've been seeing a lot of that on Twitter though. I honestly, I just, you know, I'm sure they do end up working. I much rather just keep things very simple here with support and resistance, as well as, you know, the RSI is the most simple indicator in my personal opinion there. Like I used to use the CCI and stochastic. Now I do use the stochastic. I have it open on Webull. You know, I just don't even want to complicate things. I think things are pretty easy. Like just look at SPY. You're getting somewhere where even during your bear market, you had these big old bounces. All right, you buy enough time when you see an oversold RSI on the indices here. I think you're very likely going to, you know, I think it's going to work out. Whereas anchored VWAP, I don't know how to use it. I've seen a few like videos on them. So you would do them at major lows and stuff like that. But again, just, you know, more things on the chart. I'd just much rather not do it. Yeah, guys, this is a big one over here on Apple. I really do think anybody who's buying time on Apple contracts, or if you're just loading up on shares, I didn't load up on shares. You know, I'm not going to say like the money I have for shares is not, you know, in the tens of thousands. All right. It was like 4,000. All right. Around there. So I'm just going to say right now, you know, Apple, if you are a long-term investor, and I'm not even going to say long-term investor, if you're willing to put, you know, a couple thousand into Apple and you have a large portfolio, we'll just say you have a $50,000 portfolio and you want to see that thing steadily grow up. You just want to, you know, be swing trading these. And that's why I say trading, not investing, because I mean, you can buy for years and years, but you're not going to be taking profit on your Apple shares if you're doing something like this. All right. Are you not taking any? But also, that's why I say, like, I'm not going to be doing Apple. I personally picked Riot. I think that's going to get a hefty bounce. But Riot just fell quite a bit. And if you do move back up to where I think you are, I think you're going to get a 30 to 50% move pretty quick here. If you do end up seeing Bitcoin catch a bounce. So that is that. All right. But moving on to Goog. All right. Goog over here is in a bull flag. You could not get the daily breakout. I want to point that out. But you very much so can just come back down here. And again, SPY, this revolves around SPY only seeing a little more downside towards that 431 level. If it does end up coming all the way down to 420, then yeah, we're coming down and filling this gap on Goog. That's going to be how that goes. But this is exactly how I would be playing Goog. You would be taking your long here. You would be risking this zone right here. And you'd be playing for a move all the way back up there. And that is a very, very solid risk to reward ratio. You are risking just about $1. You can even take it a little further because, you know, you want to leave room for a wick. You don't want to make it right at support. I think that is a terrible idea. Yeah, something like that. All right. And that is a great risk to reward going on over here on Goog. Again, just strong setup. You did have this strong gap up, and now you're just sitting there flagging. Very similar to what Amazon was doing, but Amazon just completely gave it up. All right, so there was that. Moving on to Microsoft. Microsoft does have price right at support here. You do have buyers stepping in. Your RSI is getting towards 30. So just like the indices, I do think like, hey, all right, you're getting oversold here. I think you're likely to get buyers stepping in. The support that we were watching a while back was all the way there and then right here. All right, and since you did end up breaking down through 322, you had quite a bit of downside to the next support. So we are now at that support. You do have a doji candlestick going on. So, you know, if you really want, you could even just buy it open and risk this doji candlestick. If that would be, you know, you'd be risking something like that. All right. And you're planning for a move back up to right here. Boom, bop, bing, boop, pow. Let me just put that on. Okay, shit risk reward, all right? So maybe you just literally risk over here. All right, honestly, it doesn't look good. All right, I'm gonna just say that right now. I didn't look at this one, but again, I mean, if you're loading up here, I'm personally looking at the 915 contracts. I'm not playing for, you know, just a simple dead cat bounce and then do that. Am I going to take profits on that and then wait to reload? If we do get a potential, like, you know, this scenario, let me just come over here. If anybody didn't watch the YouTube video, all right, if we get this scenario, which I still think is likely, all right, I think this is likely, or we go a little lower and we get these entries and we see, you know, something bigger like this, or we just straight up do something like this. We have just fallen quite a bit. Let's just put on the Fibonacci retracement, do something like that. All right. And where's the golden pocket? It's right here at the 451.55 level. So yeah, I could look at more. You know, these are the scenarios I see playing out. So if we get this bounce here, all right, these names are going to get a decent sized bounce. I'm just going to put that one out there. Microsoft, I'm going to be honest, you don't really have any like clear as day, like levels that are being respected here. You just kind of on the hourly time frame, you can see you just kept making these lower highs and lower lows here. So we could look at some of these and you could be doing something like that right there. And that would make your risk like this setup worth it. That, if I was to take it, this is what I'd be playing for. But where are you going to potentially see sellers step in? Right here. But again, if you see SPY go up to 444, you're probably going to see a larger bounce. Same with QQQ. Investing, I'd rather go into the yield max ETFs and the blue chips that they're based on. Going to hold something long term, I like hefty dividend. Otherwise, I just trade. Yeah, honestly, dividends ain't bad. I'm just gonna say right now, I see so many people though on Twitter, just literally they are like, oh, I got this amount in I don't see a lot of people actually, but I see it a lot and I laugh because you can go into the tickers and the tickers will be down 30%, all right, on the year. And then you're like, oh, I just got a 1%, 2%, whatever you get, all right? It's just not going to do that. So, I mean, I much rather just, you know, I mean, in the long term, I'm just going to be trading. I am not going to turn into a dividend investor. And that's just my logic. If you know, I mean, what I'm doing specifically, I am going to just continuously get better at reading charts, which means I'll get better at trading said charts as long as I'm trading along the way, which I do not plan on stopping. So, you know, over the next 5 years, you know, things will get very good. So yeah, I think that's a lot more lucrative than dividends, but I see what you're saying. You get that and you get to swing trade them. I see exactly that view. I like that. I do like it. Next one up is SPY, the big boy itself. Where are we risking this one? Now, I actually already did take a position on SPY, but if we do get this, yeah, I'll go a little bit heavier. All right, guys, I'll break my rules on this, my 10% of the account rule on each trade. I will break that if I start getting the glorious entry. All right, I will definitely be breaking it. And again, I'm going to be using date, maybe even further out than 9:15. I don't know. All right. But I think it's very unlikely, probably just the 9:15 expiration. I'm going to be honest. I think it's very unlikely that you just continue falling straight through this. Like, let's just look at dollar amount. I think you're down $25. Yeah, $26. If you get down here, you're literally going to be down $30. I think it's extremely unlikely that you just keep falling down. Like people are saying 420, and like, let's just look at, you know, how far down are you falling? That's $40, all right? You really think you're gonna, like, you barely got a $40 rip. All right, you didn't get a $40 rip. You think you're now going to get a $40 decline. I think it's very unlikely. All right, over here you got this $40 decline, and this is this is when peak panic was going on. But again, you have conditions now that we're seeing down over here. So that was that. But yeah, over here on SPY, guys, all right, levels to be watching. If you're taking the risk down here, all right, if you get down here, I think you're going to move all the way up here. So like, this is where I'm going to say like, hey, fully scale out. Here's where you do so. And then I wouldn't be, going long right here. I would wait for a new high to break out, and then you could trade that on a lower time frame. But I would really be completely scaling out of a SPY position if we get back up to 450, 155. I did just point out this is where the golden pocket is, somewhere between here and over here. So if you do come back, it's literally going to be back testing where you broke down from and started this downtrend. So solid level to be paying attention to, in my personal opinion. But yeah, you would want to risk something a little under here, maybe right under this level right here. So there you go, 3 to 1 going on right there in SPY. Next one, again, I already took this one. This is actually the one I am up the most on. It's IWM. IWM does have the RSI all the way down, like it was at 31, and at the open over here it was actually underneath 30. So I decided to pounce on that one. I'm just going to point out, all right, the actual level you want to be, oh, that is the wrong tool right there. The actual level you want to be risking is right here, all right? And if you break under here, guys, you have nothing for a while. You have this gap fill all the way down here, 176. So like, if you break the zone, you're falling another $4. Do you want to sit in $4 of pain on a position you're only trying to get like something like this out of? No, you don't, all right? Very clear risk here. All right, you literally are risking the zone because, like I just pointed out, underneath it, you have $4 of downside until the next reaction spot, which is going to be this gap fill. But yeah, this is the setup over here on IWM. You're looking for a move back somewhere into the zone. Doesn't have to be the top of it, but this is where, I personally will be, at least getting rid of one contract on that. If not, hey, all right, if we get a full-on recovery, then I do think IWM is probably going to come back up here. And guess what? If you're you're taking your risk down here, and that's a 10 to 1 risk reward ratio, all right? If you're not going to take your profits up here and just wait for the zone to be broken, I don't know what to tell you. This is definitely a very strong zone. You have like 4 different rejections in the zone. You have 1, 2, 3, and you have this 4th. All right. Plus, if you break the zone, you'll have this going on. You will break out of this pennant you have right here. And then you probably do end up seeing a back test. So it'd be something like that. And maybe it goes a little higher. That is your job not to FOMO once you break out. Then you got to wait for the back test. And that would be that. All right. But that is IWM. The next one is TSM. So this is actually one I am interested in taking if I see it, which I did not pounce today. Or not today, on Friday. I did not do it because, again, I was skeptical SPY was going to keep coming down. But, if I do see it, I'm either going to be risking this one right here, or I'm going to be risking it down here at this gap fill. But reason you're looking for this is because underneath that, you have quite a bit of downside to the next gap fill. $2.50. So you do want to be only risking this zone right here. That is your last support, the bottom of that zone. You want to put it a little lower than that. And you were looking for a move back up to 94.58, which was the low of this candlestick right here. That is where you were holding on by a thread here, and then boom, fat gap down. That's a reaction level. That is what I'm looking at. If you think about extending bond duration in the portfolio long, I don't do bonds. I'm going to be straight up on that one. I don't fully understand them. I don't have large enough capital to sit there and wait on bonds to be playing out. Like, hey, if I'm at a point where I got hundreds of thousands of dollars in the next 5 to 10 years, then yeah, 110%. But yeah, I honestly have no thoughts on that. I'm not. I don't want to say I'm not qualified. I want to say I'm not experienced. I'm not anything of the sort with bonds. So I'm definitely the wrong person to talk about that. Yeah, my buddy's in the Discord. He actually has he does bonds. He like continuously just rolls over his bonds. This is someone I know in real life. But Steve, if you're out there, hey, shout out to you. He is my bond guy. I know nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't do them. But that is TSM AMD. All right, AMD over here, sexy setup. I really like this setup. I'm just gonna say it right now. All right, AMD, you are 101.70 is the level to be risking. Now, as you see, you already got a massive reaction, so I wouldn't be taking this late to the party. I would wait for a breakout from this actual pattern right here. Let me just over. There we go. Right there. All right. So, if you do see a move back down, that is when I would be looking to either risk that level or right below. I think would be absolutely perfect. I think it would be done with a wick, and it would be a very, very sexy setup right here. Even if you're just doing something like that, I think that would be worth it to me. All right. But like ultimately, I think this thing is very likely going to come to the top of this pattern right here, be something like that, and then in the end, again, these are like, I'm looking at date here. I'm not looking just for the weekly, the weeklies. I'm not looking, like, you probably can be very successful off of a lot of these setups if we do get some, any of those scenarios on SPY. If you get them, which I think all of them, those are the likely scenarios. I don't see us just tanking underneath 430 and going to 420. If you do see it, like, I don't know what to tell you. A lot of these will just be thrown out the window because a lot of these are just going to come straight down with the market. September 1st, 19 puts. Am I screwed? What 19 puts? What ticker? What ticker do you have September 1st puts on? Stoxel. All right. Yeah, let's look at that one. But if you do see AMD, get a rip here, and you see Nvidia, I don't know what's gonna happen with Nvidia Wednesday earnings here, but Nvidia literally had a perfect bounce, 15. So this is one we mentioned on the channel. All right, if you break this level right here, that was the low of this day right here. If you break it, that is when the next support will be all the way down here. It's like a $15 move down. You got a perfect bounce off of that level. So I'm just saying, it's gonna really depend. I would not hold those puts if you're not down too much, and like, let's say you're not down 70%. You don't just want to hold them till the expiration because it's whatever. Like I did that with Diz. I don't know why, but I had plenty of chance. But again, it was like they were down too much. I was like, oh, we're just gonna hold these. Diz completely faked me out. It's like, okay, down 67%, whatever, just whatever at this point. But if you're not in that situation, then I would not be holding that into Nvidia earnings, because that ultimately will decide where that goes. Let's just actually look at the chart over here. Soxel actually just came down and filled the gap. So I don't know how it's oh, I have that level wrong by 10 cents. I see that right now. Coordinates. I don't know how this is going to react. Like I said, Nvidia earnings, that's really going to come down to that. But I would be playing for a move down to this gap fill. I am going to point out the RSI is already almost like completely oversold. So you do have buyers stepping in. And if we get the bounce that I think is going to happen on the indices, I'm just letting you know, I think not going to be too good on those puts. That's just my opinion on that. But AMD, guys, I really do think this is a very sexy setup. You've been loading this consolidation pattern for quite some time. This is one that's on the weekly as well. All right, you have this, you have a buy volume right here. All right, declining sell volume 2 weeks in a row. And I mean, last time your RSI was down over here, you had quite a rip on AMD, and that also probably aligns with the daily RSI, yeah, being right down where it is right now. So, if we do see a bit of decline here, guys, this is another one that I very likely will be taking on the week to add to the index long positions. Yeah, gotcha. Macro SHIB, all right. Macro SHIB. Oh, SHIB. Okay, all right. Yeah, we could look at that. 1 month position. Is this what you're talking about? This are you talking about Shiba Inu? I think you are, but just to clarify, if there's a bond called SHIB that I am just completely clueless on, just let me know, because I have no idea. But yeah, 1 month position over here on SHIB. I personally wouldn't be trading SHIB. I'm just telling you that right now. All right, that is a 40% return over there. All right, if you really want crypto, I really would be taking, you're taking these things that'll be moving much more than Bitcoin. But you come over to Bitcoin, and SHIB doesn't exactly move side by side with Bitcoin anymore. It really does not. Let's just pull up this. All right. All right. So let's do that. All right. You see right here. All right. The heck is this move right here? You barely moved on Bitcoin over here. You know what? Actually, it has a tighter correlation than I expected. I was referring to things like this, right? You barely saw movement in SHIB. I think SHIB and Doge, those times have passed. I'm going to be straight up on that until you start seeing FOMO everywhere in the crypto space. I don't think that the little guys are really going to be getting much. All right, let's actually look at F, and then we'll come back to SHIB. Let's actually look at what is going on with this. Yeah, like what the heck is this chart, dude? Bitcoin. I really would just be focusing on Bitcoin. I think this thing is probably going to get a bounce though. But it's probably not going to come back and break the high. You already made your lower low. You got a lower low from this one to that one, and then to that one, to that one. So like, that's 4 lower lows here. Well, you have 1, 2, yeah, 4. Guys, other than Bitcoin, I really would not be touching crypto. But again, I'm not in the crypto space. I don't do that stuff. I will trade Riot, Mara when I see the opportunity on that, which I think Mara, you're getting an opportunity in that one. But SHIB USD, let's just look at that. Yo, what's up, dude? What is up? This high volume selling, that's like, again, I mean, this just isn't a good thing. I'm going to be completely honest. Plus this, all right, this doesn't look the best to me. It really doesn't. Plus this, what the heck is this? Now, again, I understand this was during hype time, so we can't relate it to that. But my point is, a lot of people, or not a lot of people, a few people held all of SHIB. All right, I think it was like 70 or 80% was just held by like 3 or 4 people, and that was what I was seeing way back when. And then they started to dump, and they would just, if it's still the case, guess what? Each rally, guys, they're going to be looking for exit liquidity on these little guys, and it's the same with Doge. I think that was the same situation with Doge, except not on that scale. It was, oh, look at that, that's beautiful. I love that. Same thing over here with Doge, guys. If, people are still bag holding these bigger whales that control most of the float here, which I don't know the actual scenario now on these things like SHIB and Doge. I have no idea. I just remember back in the day seeing that. Doge was controlled by, a few people, like a lot of Doge was, held. And then you got the same over there with SHIB, especially SHIB. So on these pumps, hey, if you're also a bag holder, look to freaking exit on these things. All right. You're probably not going to see something like, okay, it's not even showing it on here, but you guys remember Doge went up 70. All right. Probably not going to be doing that again. I'm going to be straight up until you have like, hey, like a bunch of new people. But look at it this way, right? If it was all like, the 18-year-olds, and we'll call them 18 to 21-year-olds, all right? That demographic, they were the people who were just getting into the market in the massive 2021 bull market. They were just entering that. They didn't know. All right. And then what happens? They saw what happened, and now you need to see the next wave come in, the clueless wave. Let me just say that. You need the next wave of clueless people to come into the market in order to see another cycle like that. And that's, that takes some years. So, on Pops, on SHIB and Doge, I would be not looking for a lot. I'm just putting that one out there right now. All right. All right. Let's actually get back to these, and then we could just take a look at all of these individual tickers. All right. We only have a few more left. Look at MU. All right. MU. Look at, we finally got to move down here, even though I thought, we were coming straight up here after seeing a freaking 6% day. You did not. You had a complete fake out. Imagine if you, bought calls down here at this support, wrote them up, took profits, was like, this isn't going to continue. Let me just get in 2-week puts. And then you got, you would have had a crazy, very crazy gain going on there if you just all in on those. I'm sure there are like a lot of people who do these things. But again, I'm going to reiterate what I said in a video this week, guys. Account flipping, or it was last week in the live stream. I'm not sure. Not going to be someone's exit liquidity. Yeah, straight up. Like that's how I look at crypto, all right? It's what is it called? What's the accumulation distribution phase? What is that? Crap, what am I am completely blanking right now. There's like a word for it. All right, whatever. All right, that's how I view all of crypto. All right, you have your accumulation phases, and then you have the distribution phases. Guys, please let me know in the chat. I know for a fact there is a term for that. It's not Elliott wave. It's not It's crap. What they have the different phases. I don't know. Yeah, Wyckoff. I knew it started with a W. All right, I knew it. All right, but that's how I view all of those. All right, Wyckoff, and that's honestly like kind of, I'm not gonna say that's how the market is, but let's just look at PLTR. All right, do you see what's going on over here? All right, this is a perfect example of how I look at Wyckoff. All right, and crypto. You have these accumulation phases, and then boom, you distribute. And you see these tops over here, and honestly, just looking at this kind of looks beautiful for a pop here, lower high, boom. What do we now have here on this chart? Which, by the way, PLTR is one we're taking a look at very quick. All right, what if you get something like this? What if you literally come back to this trend line right there? Boom. Something very beautiful. But this is exactly what your distribution. I imagine distribution, like if you go look up a picture, you're probably going to see this. All right, you see these head and shoulders tops formations. All right, and at the bottom, you see something like this. All right, which let me just actually point out another pattern. Boom, boom. What do you got? Boom, boom, boom. All right, you see the inverse head and shoulders at the bottoms. You see the normal head and shoulders at the tops. Distribution versus accumulation. All right, moving on though. All right, we have MU. Let's get back to the chart. That is what I was looking at. You did start getting buyers here, but again, if SPY comes down and QQ falls quite a bit there, all right, then I would expect this thing to probably come near this level right here. And at that point, that is where I will definitely take a long over here on MU. And I know there's a very slim zone. If you want a very sexy risk to reward ratio here, then that is when you're looking at something like this. You're taking that. Maybe you want to buy a little early. So let's go like that. All right, because buyers are going to step in. Even though if you get that close, you're probably very much so going to see that. But I am actually going to point this out. All right, on the hourly time frame, you literally see what happened here. You lost your level, came back, you retested. So very possible that we do end up seeing sellers just taking, they take control of the charts here because you now have turned a major support into resistance. All right, so that is what I'm paying attention to over there. But if you do end up coming down here, very sexy risk to reward ratio going on. I will 100% be taking this one. MU has, treated me well over here. I really wish I just held different. I had the swing going on, and I really wish I just held this for the whole time because it would have been, a 400 or 500% or maybe 600. Your outlook of SPY retest the lows in 23, 24, lower low, or climb the wall of worry. I think it's going to climb the wall of worry. Let's actually just go over that real quick. All right, on the weekly time frame, I'm just going to review what I said in the weekly video right there. Clear as day. Clear as day. You continuously have these lower lows going on. Now you have higher highs going on. All right, and what do you also have? You have these, all right, I said lower lows. I meant lower highs. And now you have these lower lows in the bear market. Very clear, we have the exact opposite going on. So, I mean, this lasted for a whole year over here. I'm going to point that out. All right, I wouldn't be surprised if this lasts for a whole year over here, same duration. Yeah, all in all, guys, I'm looking for a higher high somewhere, whether you want to come back and back test 420 and then get a very large bounce, all right? And maybe that actually opens you up to a, you have, no, I can't put a head and shoulders on that, but that would open you up to the lower high, and only if, let's just take these arrows and clean this chart up. These are really the scenarios I'm looking for. If you do hold 430, then I'm looking for you to come back up. All right, if you do not hold 430 and you come to 420, I know, sloppy line there, and I'm looking for this. All right, then we'd probably get a lower high, and then you do something like that, lower high right there, lower low compared to right here. And that's why, because it would be structurally damaging on the weekly time frame, the larger macro time frame here, be structurally damaging to break this 430 level, because that was your last major low. At least how I'm reading the chart, that was the last one. So if you get the lower low, by default, we're looking for a lower high. And then, there's your confirmation that we probably do, see another wave of selling. All right. But that's really it, guys. If we do hold 430 and you break these highs, I think we're, above this level right here. Let's just draw a zone out. All right. This is in the weekly time frame. Remember that. All right. Right here, right above 462, guys, you have nothing until all-time highs on the weekly chart. So I think it's very likely, if you hold 430 and you break these highs, we're going all-time highs. I think that is the next stop. That will be that. All right, let's just do that. Come on, there we go. All right. But yeah, coming over to Hood. All right, that is the next one that I saw on my radar. Put on my radar. I'll put it on your radars right now. All right, guys, the level to be risking is the low right here. That is where your risk is going to be at. Why am I looking at this? Because, all right, underneath here, and I do think, you know, this is a, wherever you really want to risk this thing, all right, it's up to you. You can take it right there, all right? You're looking for a move back up there or to the high of the zone right there. Literally risking right there, all right? Not the best risk reward, all right? Specifically, I would like to, you know, buy closer to that and then risk that. And then you have a larger risk reward ratio going on there. But why though? All right. Daily RSI is oversold. Again, back to the most simple indicator there possibly is. This is MACD, but you know what? MACD is, it's something else. I don't really use it, which I'll actually bring it up though right now before I forget. Come back over to SPY. Let's go on the weekly chart. Boom. What do you got going on there? You got your cross going on. Boom, you have the first week of the cross over here as well. So that is something that you can take note of. I don't put too much weight into the MACD. As you see, I mean, you got that right here, all right? And by the time it actually crossed right here, dude, that was your bottom, and then you started going back up. So I don't really give weight to the MACD on the weekly time frame. I've been seeing that a lot on Twitter as well, but that's something that I will just bring up. Let's see, IWM. You're looking at IWM and DIA really didn't rally too much in comparison to SPY and QQ. Also been looking at Space as a potential juicy swing. Yeah, Space is a scary one. Definitely scary one. I'll take a look at that right after this. All right, but Hood, there was that. Let's look at PLTR. I know we already came over here and drew this, but let's just go a little like that. All right, there we go. Let's get rid of these arrows, clean up our PLTR chart. Why am I risking this? Well, I don't think I'm going to take it, all right? Buyers weren't too convincing here. I'm going to point that out. But if we come back down here and then, you know, you get a signal, 100%, I think I will take a small position on PLTR. You could play PLTR for the cheap. So that is also something to pay attention with those of you with small accounts. Then you can not risk too much on PLTR and trade it like a normal ticker. Right here, all right, you would be, I know I put it a little higher than that, but you'd actually want to risk this level just as close as possible down to this level, all right, and you're risking slightly underneath it in case it's a little fake out. You're playing for a move up to 15 bucks, all right, very low risk going on right there. You can literally just take it with you know, shorter dated contracts. You know, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Take the L right away. Who cares? All right. If you're not using, like, that's why I have that 10% rule. All right. I think it's very wise to be controlling your risk there because the way I'm, you know, looking at these setups, all right, if you take contracts that maybe you're down 30% by the stop max, 20% even better, then guess what? If you risk 10%, you're losing, you're actually risking 2 to 3% of your account instead of the full thing. Now with contracts, they also can go to zero. And that's why, you know, we do these trade plans and these setups with stops involved. That is something I am, you know, working on because at the end of the day, guys, that's the only thing that's going to be scalable is if you have your risk management. That's the only way you can scale your trading in the coming years. It's the only way. You're not going to be able to continuously flip positions because there's going to be a few that just absolutely, and B. That is another one that I actually just shared with the Discord. It's not on this watch list, but yes, I do agree. I just said that thing likely gets a bounce. So we'll take a look at that one too. But yeah, that is PLTR. You're risking that level right there at 1356, which is the low all the way over here. Underneath there, you have no support. I'm going to point that out. You have absolutely nothing. So all the way down here. So guess what? That's why I said, hey, short-term contracts in this one. You're taking your loss quickly if you get it. All right. Yeah, it really is. There's nothing else that is going to allow you to scale up your trading. There's nothing. All right. Because like I lived it last year in 2022. I had massive swings and, you know, several times I got my account above 50K. And guess what? No, it would be like one trade. You'd lose like half the account and you'd be like, Jesus, all right. I flipped the account. I was feeling on top of the world. And now I just feel like an idiot. And like at the end of the day, if you don't have your, you know, if you don't continuously, you know, fine tune your trade plans and your risk management that go along with those trade plans, you're not going to ever be able to just get out of the habit of flipping accounts, flipping those positions. You can't get out of it without the risk management. It's not possible. All right. Really should be treated as a business and nothing else. That's it. But yeah, that is PLTR. All right. BA. Now this is one that I think is so sexy. I called this out on the on the YouTube channel when we were up here. I pointed out this was actually, you got a perfect rejection here from this resistance. You came straight to that. So congrats if anybody did end up playing that. I'm gonna point out this thing probably is not gonna, just like DIA pointed out, all right, it's probably not gonna have 7 months of consolidation just to come, or 6 to 7 months, we'll call it 6 months, just to come back, retest it, and then come back into it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're going to come back and retest. I knew the retest was very likely with this massive candlestick going on here. Probably, was not likely to just continue up. With this massive, massive amount of buyers here, where are the freaking sellers at, huh? Where are these sellers at? They're like, sellers are not strong out here. I'm just putting that out there. Just like over here, you had increasing volume on the rise over here. This was your accumulation. Actually, I mean, very sloppy here, but I can do something like this. All right, there would be your head, there'd be shoulder. All right, just bullish structure. All right, regardless of that bullish structure, you do clear as day. You see this larger one going on down here, and you did already break down from here. So I mean, this was actually on the monthly time frame. I drew that. Just pointing that out to you guys. Hey, all right, I'm talking year-long contracts. If you got the money to play them and you want something that, you could apply a trade plan to, but in the end, you're planning on holding it a lot longer, I think BA is just getting warmed up, and I think BA is probably going to do some crazy things. And if you have, an account that's worth a lot of money, all right, we're just going to call it $50,000 to $250,000 account, all right, is your range here. If that is you, this is a trade idea specifically for you. 1-year contracts on BA, you are risking right here. And then if you really want to, again, take an entry, right, you would be playing this on the monthly time frame. You'd be coming back to this neckline over here, and you can actually adjust it to right there. Right here. So let's see where that level would be on the daily time frame. All right, so if this doesn't work out, you have your tight risk management. You are literally risking this 221.33 level, which was from over here. You're risking that, and then if that doesn't work out, you could give it another shot all the way down here. You could actually do the gap fill. And if you're doing the dated contracts, you would be doing something like buying it on the gap fill. All right, maybe risking something like that, and in the end, over the monthly time frame, in the end, you are playing for, it would be something like this. All right, so yeah, 8-to-1 risk reward ratio. All right, but again, that would only be with really dated contracts that don't get demolished if you start getting these big swings on Boeing to the downside, all right? But in the short term, what I am very interested is this, all right? Now, like I said, I didn't take this. I look back, I wanted to. I was waiting on this exact setup to come to me, but this is the exact setup that I was waiting to play. All right, yes, that would be the first level to start taking profits at, just to make your life a little bit easier, but you're ultimately looking come right back up to the highs here. All right, and then if it breaks out, you can look to play the breakout with shorter term contracts. But this is the exact setup that I wanted to take. I did not take it, but this is it right here. All right, so that is one BA. All right, guys, we have one more, and that is Square. All right, we have SQ, which is now Block. I don't know why they changed the name to Block. I remember when that happened. That was a big thing. I don't know why they didn't just keep Square. This is when everyone was changing the names. Facebook was changing to Meta at the time too. Around that time, I think. Maybe Meta followed these guys. But yeah, this level right here, if you really want to take it like that and just risk the low of this candlestick, you could do something like that. Not the best risk reward ratio on that, but once it does catch a bounce, I think it's like you see where this thing fell from, all right? I'm not saying play for a move all the way up there, but a level that really sticks out to me. All right, if you want to play dated contracts, like I personally, I don't like super dated contracts. I am someone who, I don't want to just sit in a position for a month. I really don't. I really don't. Will I buy a position with a month on it? Yeah, but that's only so they don't get demolished if, things don't go my day or go my way. The two levels of I really would be paying attention to is the gap fill right here, which would be the low of 71.51. Put that right there. Let's just go down a little bit. There we go. Let's make you green. There you go. All right, so you would be having a very sexy risk to reward ratio going on there. And then right up underneath there, Make that red for resistance. All right, you would be doing something like that. And that would be this would be the exact setup I would be taking. All right, it would be here. And again, I'm probably not going to take this one. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to be all in on these setups because I'm seeing you got a lot of buying opportunities across the board, in my opinion. All right, and I much rather have the best ones, which I think are going to be the indices, IWM, SPY, QQQ if you are going to be bullish on tech, but I like SPY. Clears their risk levels going on in SPY, whereas QQQ it just really doesn't. What's up, dude? What is up? But yeah, Square. All right, now let's go over the tickers that we said we would get to. All right, first things first, A, B, and B. Buyers stepping in. You have a doji indecision candlestick. So it's not a hammer, but it is an indecision candlestick, which is the first sign that the market participants on this ticker are they're questioning what is going on here. They're questioning, should this continue? So that is how I look at that. You also have the RSI at 30, so I do think it's very likely you start getting that bounce. And we'll point out the last time you got down here, this was your exact bottom before a 70 to 80% rip. And then the time before that, you had this. Would I be holding for 70, 80% rip? No, I would be, I'm playing for a $10 move though. Something like that. I would be playing for a move back up to here. There you go. But yeah, guys, the last, was it 3 times the daily RSI got this low? You had at least a 20% rip. That's something to be playing. All right. Oh, 4 times over here. What happened? Yes, you put in this bullish divergence, but you still had, this is a $10 move right there. That's what I would say. I would be playing something like that. I don't think I will. No, you didn't. We're going to get tomorrow. I just started going over all of the tickers that you guys requested. So, but yeah, then you put in that bullish divergence. Then you had a massive rally, and then the other time was over here, and this was, this was, the oddball out. All right. But again, this was during your bear market. So you've had different conditions back then than what is going on like right now. The market participants were in complete panic the whole year of 2022. Now we don't have that happening. So now, things might be respected a little bit more. But yeah, you do have buyers stepping in, indicated by that volume and indecision candlestick. So, it's being backed by the volume. And your daily RSIs, this has the same condition of the last 3 20% bounces. I think you got a solid shot at seeing a bounce over here on A, B, and B. Plus, let's just put another support on here. Boom, you could do something like that, or you could just do the low of this, and you came very close. But, I wouldn't do that. I think you see it have a lot of touch points going on right here. I think this one candlestick could just be a false breakdown. And then, yeah, you're holding on support. That's like, I'm probably not going to take it. Like I said, I don't want to get too exposed on this. I'm in this for the long term. But, I think this really is a sexy setup. I literally just shared this last night with the Discord. So I'm glad you brought this up. I completely agree. Very sexy setup going on here. All right. I have a fastball. I think I took position LQR right before Friday close at 119. It's a recent IPO that got demolished and bounced a little late on a Friday. Let me actually see. All right. I don't play these things, but holy sweet baby Jesus. I remember there was a time when I tried playing these IPOs. It got smashed, all right? But keep in mind, high volume selling. So they're like clear as day. That's what's going on here. If you're seeing something that's going straight down like that with this high volume, all right, you had these 2 like not too bad days here going on. And then boom, all right, you start getting hammered with the volume, all right? It's just showing on these days, guys, whoever was holding pre-IPO is completely unloading. And like this volume right over here could have been the people that caused this high volume over here just selling out of their positions. So I'm just going to point that out. If you see IPOs like this, yes, they could have a bounce, but I have witnessed it myself in a position where the thing just like really just didn't come back. Like I'm talking, it went like, I don't remember what I bought, but it was around, I want to say IPO'd around $5. All right. It got down to $1 and I just kept holding and it just, like never came back. I forgot the ticker now. It was something I did last year, but during the IPO craze. But yeah. All right. All right, let's get to Mar, and then we're gonna go over the first guy who's in here. All right, Ender. We will go over Tesla, SQ. We just went over PayPal, AMC, and DKing. All right, DKing actually did see a bounce. We saw that. Tesla, high volume selling going on here. I am going to point, or not Tesla, Mara, high volume selling going on here. That was because you have Bitcoin. I'm just saying, if you're playing Mara or Riot, you are strictly going to be paying attention to Bitcoin. All right. They will literally move exactly with Bitcoin, except they will move better to the upside if the indices are also doing well. If you see QQ rallying, all right, people, I mean, I know Mars and Riot are in there, but I'm guessing that is why that happens, because, you know, people are like, oh, tech, everything's good. All right. So now we can go heavier on the riskier plays, which would be Riot and Mars. So if you see indices rallying and Bitcoin rallying, very strong Mara and Riot. There you go. If it's just Bitcoin rallying, still a strong Mara and Riot. So I am looking personally for this level to be broken. And as you see, so I'm glad I put this on my chart. It was right here. You're looking for a break above this, which we can actually change this. Now you have these 2 touch points. You need to learn Darvis box. Instead of seeing head and shoulders everywhere, just saying BA comments. Good fortune to you this week. Oh yeah, you as well, dude. You as well. Master, yeah. Facts. I am gonna look up what Darvis box is, because I don't understand, but I do want to understand. So Bitcoin, though, for playing Mara and Riot, this is when those have potential to start getting a crazy bounce. You need to break this level at 26,250, we'll call it. All right. So let's just actually make this that. All right. Let's make that the exact level. Why are we doing that? Right here, you have this touch point, you have this touch point. All right. And clear as day, that's where you're getting rejected over here. That is exactly what you're going to be paying attention to. Why did this? Oh, why the heck, dude? Yeah, my live chat just completely like. Why did you do? Why did it? Let me try something. I hope it doesn't mess anything up for you guys. Just. There we go. Chat's back. Cool. All right. Last live stream. I'm still getting used to this whole live stream stuff. We're going to be doing it every Sunday, but I deleted my chat last time and did not know how to get it back, and I had to look at them on my phone. But I just added it back. It was very cool. All right. This is really the level you're watching. All right. It doesn't matter what you're seeing on Mara and Riot. All right. You're going to be paying attention to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's daily RSI is oversold. All right. Let me actually just get back over there. Don't know why I went off. All right. Very oversold. Last time you saw this was over here, and you saw a 20% bounce within days. All right. Within like literally 2 days. All right. Three bars right there. All right. Regardless, if you see that, that is when we likely see Mara and Riot getting their big old bounce. And I just want to point out, if you see that bounce, be watching that level right there. All right. But moving on to Tesla. And then Tesla, we're going to cover Tesla, PayPal, AMC, DKing, and we're going to cover that. Let's get out of here. We're going on an hour now. Last one was an hour and a half. So reasonable time for live stream there. All right. I am going to point out Tesla. Buyer stepping in. Indecision candlestick. You are almost down to your 0.618 Fibonacci. If you do end up seeing a move down there, which, I mean, you can use it from here and you're in your golden pocket, but I would really be using this level or this level as your, major fib there. If you on Yang. Yeah, China, I was disappointed in Baba, but, China absolutely hit the shitter, and Baba did not like that at all. All right, not even close. The setup just got demolished over there on Baba, but I still think it's going to be a big winner over there. Yeah, Tesla's daily RSI is oversold, guys. Last time you were down here, this literally marked the bottom. Over here, you did have quite a bit more downside, but again, this was over here in 2022 still. This is when you still had your panic going on, and you saw a 30% drop from there. Now, are we going to have a 30% drop? I don't know, but that would bring you back down to the lows, and I would probably also, I wouldn't have as much money to buy shares down there. Maybe at that, if I see this, guys, I'll put the trading account in some Tesla. All right, I'll do that and wait for this big move. I probably won't do Tesla shares with the trading account. I would do very dated options on Tesla, far out the money, very dated. I'm talking 6-month options if I saw something like this, maybe a year, because I would be heavily confident Tesla's not going to sustain a drop down here. If it falls 30% down here, it would be treated like a double bottom. In my personal opinion, that is exactly how that would go. Obviously, I don't know that's how it go, but that's, you know, my projection if we were to get down there. Um, but yeah, I do think Tesla is likely to be, you know, putting in a bottom in the very near term here. I did take advantage of that, but you are now at a 30% drop. You are coming into your 0.618 Fibonacci. Now that you're under 215.50 though, the next level is all the way down here at 199. So that was what I would be paying attention to. And that would be in your golden pocket. So I think, you know, that's the lowest I see Tesla going. Maybe come down here, but I mean, again, you're giving back most of the move at that point. You're having a very deep retracement. I think a very large bounce would come out of Tesla if that would be the case. But I will point out high volume selling. So that is something to take note of over there. All right. Coming back up here, let's look at PayPal. All right. PayPal, I think PayPal starts seeing a bounce. I'm just going to point that out. All right. In the weekly chart, you have this high volume here on this hammer candlestick going on. Pin bar, you know, I'm bullish in my opinion. You got a bigger wick on the downside. But on the daily chart, you have this big green bar and it's off of lower volume. All right. So we can't see the buyer stepping in, all right, from that weekly candlestick. It was the sellers that made up most of that. So I will point that out. Obviously, you know, it's being heavily traded, but you want to see a bullish candlestick with a big green bar, something like this. All right. You see how this was the bottom before a little move higher here. That's something you want to see. See how this move kept going with this volume going on? That is support by the buyers. All right. So I do just want to, you know, make that clear over here. But yeah, you were in this massive falling wedge here. So that is also something to take a note of, like a massive falling wedge. So, you know, either here you're going to get buyers stepping in, which is right at support. That is where you close the week. So I think you either are bottoming out here or you're likely to come down here to the bottom of the falling wedge, which would be around 56 bucks. Then you get your bottom there. Obviously, that would be bottom fishing. But, you know, you have this big bull structure going on here. I think it's very likely to be playing out, just like we were pointing out. All right, accumulation and the distribution. All right, well, guess what? I think this is likely one of those accumulation things going on. So that is that. All right, the next one we're going to take a look at is AMC and then DKing, and then we're going to cut it with that. All right, over here, big down week over here on AMC. I'm just going to point out, if you still are just holding AMC, holy jeez, they have a stock split coming up. You got to be freaking kidding me. All right. I would not be messing with this thing. Now, stock splits, all right, this is a common thing on small caps that do stock, you know, stock splits, or micro caps, I would say. Shorts cover. All right. So, you know, if this thing is, I don't have Vortex anymore, but if this thing is still 20% shorted, like it has been for like the past year or two, then you could see a decent amount of squeezing going on here, and you could see a move back up here. All right, but like really the level I would be paying attention to is there, and then your gap fill over here. But I believe this was actually done because of some fundamental news that the company was like, you know, what's going on behind the scene. I think it was something having to do with not refinancing, but they were doing something that would directly affect this and Ape. So you know, I'm just gonna say right now, all right, I would not be trading this thing. All right, if you still are trading this thing, clear as day, this thing doesn't have good price action. It doesn't. So like, why are you gonna trade it? Is what I'd be saying. All right, but this long-term trend line, that is something that I'll actually put an alert on, and we will just watch it, see if it happens over the next couple months. All right, let's put this. What's the furthest out? All right, next month. All right, we're gonna do it right there, and we're gonna see if that gets hit. That's the only time that you know, I think that would be going on. AMC is not a split, but a reverse split. Oh, well, same thing. All right, splits or reverse splits. That's when, you know, I have at least witnessed on the micro caps. That is when I see like short squeezes going on, like crazy ones, and then they typically get given back, and the stock will go lower. But guys, reverse split is a very, very, very bad thing to be doing. All right, I'm just gonna put that one out there, guys. If you have options on AMC, do not hold them into that split. Do not hold them the week before the split. You will not be able to take any money out of those options. So just, you know, also learn from experience on that one. It's not going to work out. All right. Last ticker, DKing, DKNG. All right. This is actually one I was paying attention to. You did end up having good earnings, and then you died. All right. You had this big day, and then you fell off a cliff here. But now you're Seeing buyers step in with this bullish candlestick, like we're seeing on a lot of other ones. And then on the weekly chart here, I want to point out you have this high volume selling going on, and the selling this week really, the sellers dissipated. So you're seeing a big reset over here. You will have more room to run. You just had positive earnings, but if you're strictly following a chart, I mean, you don't really have a reason along this thing. I'm going to be completely honest on that. You have the support down here. You could use the open or the close of that candlestick right there. It would be somewhere around 25.15. The exact one would be 25.23. We'll put that on our chart right there. But I really wouldn't, I don't see a reason to long this thing. But if you wanted to long this thing, then I would strictly be doing this. All right. You would put a zone right here. There you go. And why am I doing this? Because this defines your risk. So if you're going to do it, I would do it right there at support, risk somewhere underneath there, and you're looking for a move back up to here. All right. And that would be a very sexy risk to reward ratio. But again, I mean, I don't know why this thing is massively selling off. All right. You do have high sell volume on this, even though you had positive earnings. So maybe it's, the people who are holding down here and witness, this whole thing, they're selling out. I'm just putting that one out there. That is what this high volume is indicative of. That is a thing. All right. But that is exactly what I'd be doing on DK. All right, guys, we're going to conclude the live stream with this. I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed. Thank you very much for being with me. We will be back on the live stream next Sunday. We will be back every Sunday, and we do a daily update Monday through Friday, and then we have the weekly update on Saturday. You can expect to see content out of our channel every single day of the week. All right, I will catch you tomorrow for the daily update around probably be out 3, try and do it around 3 o'clock, but they're typically going to be out towards 3:30. I am going to tell you guys right now, I'm going to be an Amazon driver, guys, just so I have a better schedule, in my personal opinion. So the daily updates will be able to come out, and I will be able to still work my current job, and also just ultimately get more money doing that. So why not? So I'm just letting you guys know I will be working throughout the day, and then those videos, the daily videos, will every single day. They will be after the markets close. So we will have all of the data on the charts to be doing those videos. So I am extremely excited about that. Just letting you guys know about this right here. I'm not going to say it in a video, but I will let you guys know if you're here with me in the live stream hanging out with me. I will be doing that. So I am very excited for that. And yeah, I will catch you tomorrow.